All right.
Let's do it. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good, man. Not like we've just been hanging out
The
the last 5 hours.
last like 3 or 4 weeks, to be honest. But I just wanted to get into it straight away. I mean,
Yeah, man.
you just signed a 8K a month client plus a rev share, which is easily going to put you above six figures for the year just on one client. Could even be multiple six figures. Like it probably is going to be more just off one client. And I think of how unheard of that is in the SMMA space where people, no offense to like people like Shanta, but are charging like 2K a month for a dental marketing agency, stuff like that. And the
Yeah.
clients churn, right? So it's a completely different model. But yeah, I just want to say congrats, bro. It's fucking sick.
Thanks, man. Wasn't
Yeah.
easy, but it made it happen.
What wasn't easy about it?
Getting the competency to be able to close that sort of deal. So when you're speaking to a company that's doing 10 million bucks a year or whatever that is, like way above your average SMMA client,
Yeah.
you have to have a level of competency that only comes with experience. And experience is valuable because it comes with time, because it doesn't come fast.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to spend a lot of time gaining the experience so that when you speak to a CEO of a $10 million company, you sound like you know what you're talking about because you do. So it's hard to build that up. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're speaking to these guys, like they know that you know about the industry. Whereas if someone's starting SMMA for the first time, even if they've been in it like 2, 3 years, their knowledge is really like service specific, and it's not about the industry as a whole. So it's just harder for them to be respected. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about if you were a business owner looking for a solution and your local lead gen, like you run a gym or you run a yoga studio or like whatever it is,
Yeah.
think about the amount of people that message you with the rise of popularity of SMMA. You have like 16, 17 year olds who have no experience messaging you, trying to sell you a service for thousands of dollars. And you have to remember that you're not the only one. You have 100 other guys doing the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with that because I started when I was 17. I
Mm,
started my first social media marketing agency in junior year of high school right when COVID hit.
yeah.
So I think you should start young, but you shouldn't expect to sign fat deals right away if you don't have any level of business acumen because that takes time to build up. And even if you do sign the deal, it's very likely that the deal is going to fall through after a few months because you don't know what you're doing. It's your first time doing it.
And it's not like SMMA where it's just a service that you're helping these people with. It's like when you're signing these bigger deals, they respect you. You can't just sign them and then expect them to stay on for ages if you're not good at stuff like communication, making them feel valued. Because honestly, I said this before, like it's especially when you talk about these bigger deals and even the smaller ones as well, it's like probably 60% client relationships and communication and then 40% results.
Yeah, man. Client client relationship is way more important than the actual result because people want to work with quality people.
Yeah.
Um, and again, this is like my fifth time saying this, but experience is valued because it is hard to get because it takes a lot of time to get.
Mm-hmm.
So when they work with you and they feel that you are an experienced person that knows what they're talking about, even if you don't get the result, you want to build a relationship with them professionally to a point where it's like if you can't do it, then nobody can.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that takes time to learn the skills to know how to do that.
Yeah, and what you said about positioning is so interesting as well because, like you said, there's like, let's say someone has a yoga studio, they're getting reached out to people all the time, and their offers look the exact same. So it's like with the GP, with like a GP style offer and just charging more. Not only are you just charging more, but your whole position, your whole package looks different than the traditional person. Because like even if you're helping yoga studios, like no one's going to go to the length to really differentiate themselves like that. So it's just commoditized, like, and that's what the whole SMMA space is right now.
Yeah, and it's tough because you have guys like Iman and like all these other guys promoting the hell out of SMMA.
Yeah,
And so SMMA now is like drop shipping in 2018,
yeah,
where it was the big thing. Everybody was doing it. The only way to make money
mm-hmm.
online was drop shipping.
Yeah,
I think now the best way to make money online is not an SMMA, but to get a job, honestly. I think getting a job in either sales or marketing,
mm-hmm.
building up the experience for 1 or 2 years, and then actually knowing what you're talking about before you start a business gives you the leverage you need to actually like run a business. Not to start a business, but also to run the business.
I agree with you
Yeah.
because I think it's unreasonable for people to think that they're going to get, like, if you have no business experience, right, you're going to get into SMMA, you're going to start earning 10K a month within 3-4 months with nothing. Like, you're learning all the skills. Like SMMA, it's not like it's not like you have a job and you have one specific role. Like, you're starting a business, right? And it's not like drop shipping or something. You have like all these different components to it. You need to understand finance, you need to understand like communication with clients, you need to understand your service, you need to understand sales, marketing, lead generation, all these different things. So if you get a job, right, not only does that mean you have a more likely chance of signing bigger deals later down the line because you have the positioning, you have the experience, like Nathan talked about, but it's like you can focus on one thing and you can stack cash while you're doing it. Because even if you do start earning 10K, let's say 5 months down the line, let's say you're just working super hard and you make that happen, it's like, that's going to fluctuate, right? Clients are going to drop off, you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. So I agree with you about the job thing.
Yeah,
more people should do it.
Yeah, because you see all these people that start SMMA and they're like, yeah, dude, I just hit 10K. It's like, okay, well, you made 10,000 this month. But for how long are you making 10,000 a month?
Yeah.
Because the way it works is you'll make 10,000 in a month. The average retention rate for this industry is 3 months.
Yeah.
And then after 3 months, it drops off, the clients leave, and then you start back at zero. So essentially, when you start this business, you have to understand that the market average, if you do the same thing as everybody else is doing, you get the same training as everybody else, you run through the same courses and mentors that everybody else is doing, you don't do anything else different, you can expect your clients to leave after 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means you have to prepare for starting back at zero every 3 months. Like, imagine that,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
That means even if you made 100,000 this month, and using the SMMA model that everybody does, that means in 3 months, on average, you're going to go right back to zero, and then you're going to have to start it up again. Now, I have friends like Shanta, right? You talk to Shanta. His retention is, I think it's anywhere between 7 to 9 months on average. But that's really good. That's unheard of in SMMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a usual result. And that's why I switched to the growth partner model, the GP model, because if I sign a client, I know for a fact I'm getting paid next month. I know for a fact I'm getting paid 6 months from now.
Yeah.
And that gives you the ability to hire good people. So now whenever I sign a new client, I think, okay, this person, if I sign this client for $8,000 to $12,000 a month, and then I throw on a rev share on top of that, now I have resource to hire somebody in-house to fulfill in the project, to hire an A player.
Yeah.
Whereas with an SMA, you hire one client, you don't know if they're going to stay on. That doesn't give you the confidence to hire good people, nor does it give you the confidence to invest back in your product because you don't know if that cash is going to be there next month.
Yeah.
So it's better to stay safe and not invest at all. But then as a result, everything else suffers. You don't have a good product. You don't have a super A player team because you don't have predictable cash flow.
So true.
And the only way to circumvent this is to have a sales machine. But then you're not a marketing agency that delivers to your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just a sales company that sells stuff, right? Mm-hmm. If you were delivering on 100% of the promises that you can make, and assuming also the client's doing their job, because you'll sign a client and a lot of times they won't do what they're supposed to, and then they don't get the result. But assuming everything goes well, then there's no reason why your clients should leave, like in under 6 months. Anything can happen at 6 months plus with a service-based business, but under the 6 month mark, there's no reason why clients should be leaving.
Yeah, there's two things you just said that I thought were really interesting. One was the confidence that you talked about, because it's like how much you're charging is directly linked to how much you value yourself as a person and the value you can provide to your clients. So like if you're helping, there's nothing wrong with helping yoga studios, keep using that example, but let's say like they don't have loads of money, right? So let's say you're charging them 1K a month, right? Not only have you got to sign like, I don't know, 15 different clients to get to 15K a month, but then you've also got to worry then about delivering for them, right? And you're also like, clients are going to drop off. It just gets so messy. And when you have that SMMA model, the traditional SMMA model that people talk about, it's like, you can't build anything predictable and you can't make decisions and you can't invest back into team because you don't know when people are going to drop off. You don't know when people are going to leave. And that's not even saying that you can't provide good communication and good results to your clients. It's just like, there's so many of them. It just gets so hard to do. Right. Yeah. So it's like, I remember watching Jordan Platten and Charlie Morgan do a YouTube video, and Jordan Platten was like, okay, I started SMMA in 2017. Right. Which is kind of makes you think like he's now selling He started growing an agency in 2017. He's now still selling that to people in 2024. So obviously you can see there's a problem there. But he literally said back in 2017 when he started, Facebook ads was an offer. Like he didn't have to position, he didn't have to talk about outcomes or anything like that. It was, hey, I'll run your Facebook ads. They're like, cool, they've never heard of Facebook ads. It's the most unique offer ever at the time. Yes, cool, we'll pay you 1K to 2K a month to do it. Now it's completely changed. You can't do that anymore. So yeah, which is why, again, it's just about the positioning, and it makes sense. It just makes so much sense to work with fewer clients, charge them more money, because you just can get them better results.
Yeah, and they respect you more too.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, at least for the niche I'm in with recruiting and staffing,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm competing with other agencies, because there's not a lot of agencies in my niche.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good reason for that. It's not a sexy business. It's a more traditional industry. I've spoken to around 100 recruiting companies by now, and nobody's running ads successfully. And there's probably a reason why nobody's running ads successfully. And where was I going with this? So when it comes to deciding on the industry and having companies respect you when you are charging bigger numbers, you have to work with people who have more money. When they look at working with you, this is what I was going about earlier.
Yeah.
They look at comparing you to a sales director or marketing director. They look at, okay, well, if this guy's charging me 100K a year, that's just another marketing director.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my marketing director right now kind of sucks. Let me get this guy in, because most in-house marketing staff and marketing talent is not good. The only way that you find a good marketer is by catching them when they are in transit to another job. So, because they get paid well. If you think about it, if you know how to generate traffic and multiply $1 into $10 by using good marketing,
Yeah.
every single company is going to want you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means if you're bad at marketing, you're not going to really have that much demand for your labor,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so most companies, they're not good at marketing. So yeah, when I speak with the company, I'm like, look, instead of hiring a salesperson, a sales manager, a business development rep, pay me to do it. Just give me like $8,000 a month. Give me a percent of whatever I earn, and then we can just go from there. And they're like, okay, well, this makes sense. You can give me clear revenue numbers, and it's not an ambiguous thing. Usually, when a rep or person or like marketing guy does an interview, it's not like they can say, we've analyzed your business back to back, and we know for a fact if you give me this amount of money, I can make you this amount of money back based on these strategies. It's usually, oh, I have a good resume, and I've worked at this company before. Like, do you want to hire me? And so when you position yourself that way, you are putting yourself on the level of a marketing or sales director without actually being one, and you get paid the same amount. Or you could be like, yeah, we're going to run your emails, and maybe you get results, maybe you don't. We have 5 other clients that we're doing this for.
That's so true. Maybe you get results, maybe you don't. That's exactly what they're thinking.
You don't say that,
but that's what they hear.
But that's what they hear, because that's their experience working with people like you. A template that works for 60 or 70% of people might not work for the other 30 or 40%.
And that's what it is. Like when you have that many clients, it's just copy and paste.
It's copy.
It's not custom, so you can't charge custom prices.
And you can't do custom either. You don't have the bandwidth to do custom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The positioning is so interesting as well, because it's not like when you're trying to charge these higher, you're trying to sign high ticket clients. It's completely different, because you can leverage in your pitch, like, listen, I don't work with many clients and I don't intend to, because as you'll see in the pricing structure, I'm actually incentivized to get you results. The traditional SMMA, you're not incentivized to do that. You're incentivized to bring in as many clients as possible, spread yourself thin, which is stupid not only for them, but for yourself as well. And they can see that. So dumb. It's so stupid. And right, so the positioning is different, because when you're only signing a few clients, you can literally say to them, right, I'm coming into your business as a growth partner. I'm not thinking about this like an SMMA operator. Like, I'm just going to literally have you, like, you're going to pay me 2K a month for 3 months. I'm only going to earn 6K a month from this. Because smaller business owners may not see the problem with that, because again, like, the smaller the business owner, the shorter their time horizon of thinking is, right? If they're bigger, they're going to be like, okay, like, you can charge me on a 6 to 12 month contract, because I'm not necessarily thinking, can you generate me cash right now in the first 2 months? I'm thinking like even 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, right? So what I was saying was, when you have fewer clients, you can literally say, I'm coming into your business as a team talent, as someone that's going to be dedicated do revenue generating activities. I'm not going to be fucking around doing like messing around with your Facebook pixel and doing all these SEO things which do not matter to generate revenue and just doing them to keep you happy. No, because if you work with fewer business owners, you're going to be working with bigger business owners, so they're going to be more competent. So they understand that you're only focusing on things that are really going to matter. And that's where it comes in, like the respect, because you charge more money, they respect you, they know you have the experience. So again, like it's a no-brainer for me. But the thing is, like, not everyone can do this, right? You need experience, which is why we're talking about a job. And SMMA, it's not terrible just to get experience, to get some cash, because you can do it. And loads of people do it successfully in the model that we just talked about, the low ticket retainers.
Yeah,
is that the best way to do it? No. But can that be a stepping stone for doing this, what we're talking about? Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, that was my stepping stone. So I went SMMA. I did that for 2 years.
Yeah.
I got clients in, but it was very hard to deliver for them because I had a lot of clients on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, I sign a client, he leaves. I sign a client, he leaves. And that kills your morale. That's no way to build a business. And then after that, I stopped doing SMMA 2 years in. I became a closer. And yeah, and then I did closing stuff. I made a company a bunch of money as their head of business development when I was like working back in it.
Shout out to phone sales.
Shout out phone sales.
Yeah.
So I was their best BD person, business development person.
Yeah.
For a few months.
Perfect.
And the offer I was working with for them, I made them like $2.3 million in 2 months, like cash in the bank as a setter in revenue. And then of course I got a commission off of that. And then I was like, okay, well, I made this company a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I have this experience in SMMA for like the past 2 years. I've lived in Medellin. My entire friend group is agency owners doing like at least minimum 50 to 100K a month.
Yeah.
Let me go start my own thing. And then so I started my own thing. And then now I have the context and the positioning and like the skills to be able to go out and do this successfully. But if you're a beginner doing it for the first time, there's no way you can do this without struggling heavily. Like you have to have some kind of experience or you're cooked, bro. This is not a beginner business model. Not at all.
It's not. And imagine doing what we're both doing now without coaching and without the people that we have helping us.
Yeah.
It would be so hard. I just want to say, like so Nathan said his friend group. It's crazy because I met Nathan in a coaching program. And you only need to know one person. So now his friend group, who he was talking about, all agency owners, like people like Pavel, you may have seen his YouTube channel. You were doing like over 100K a month profit, things like that. Like just, it's crazy that you have to know one person. They introduce you to everyone else, and then you just need one person who you can just make it exponential in terms of who you know. But I think I want to touch on what you said, because you said you had an SMMA. Obviously, it didn't go like amazing. Otherwise, you'd probably still be running it.
Yep.
But but like so you had the SMMA and then you got a job as an appointment setter or a closer. How did you not let your ego get in the way and be like, oh, I'm just settling for a job? Like, because you were obviously younger then, right? So you would have maybe, like, I probably would have thought about that maybe a year or two ago. But how did you, do you know what I mean? How did you not let that prohibit you? Because obviously the end goal for you was definitely to have a business, right? Mm-hmm. Did you see it at the time as like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for a while, or just like, okay, I'm going to stack cash, get experience, and then do my own thing?
Yeah, it was there wasn't really an ego thing at play. It was just the next logical move. Mm-hmm. So like something about me is I'm very coachable. Like if someone tells me something and I see they're further ahead of me, I'll just listen. I won't question it at all. I'm not gonna, like if you're making $100,000 a month in the business model I want to be in, mm-hmm. and you tell me this is what you need to do to get to the next step, I'm not going to question you. Yeah. Like for anyone who's watching this, you have somebody who's ahead of you in the business model you want to be in, just shut up and listen. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Like don't fight with them. Take the advice and run with it. Mm-hmm. To do anything else would be stupid because you don't have any context on what actually makes somebody successful in the business model. So, and I had my buddy Omer. So he worked with Joel Kaplan like years ago when Joel started his first agency. Now I'm not saying his coaching program, but his first agency like years ago, like 6-7 years ago. And he was like, dude, I think you should become a closer because you need to gain the skills and it's better for you to stack cash this way rather than continuing to do this and not like having clients trying to do all this and that. Mm-hmm. I think it's better for you to be a closer, make some money, make like $10,000-15,000 a month, working full time, get the skills you need, and then get back out there. So I said, all right, that makes
That's
sense.
great.
Like Omer's smart. I trust him. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. So that's what I did. And then I just followed exactly what he told me.
That's great that he did that because a lot of coaches would be like, it benefits
Yeah.
them more for you to earn like 3, 4K a month in their
Yeah.
coaching program than for you to go off and be a closer. Or say I genuinely had your best interest,
Yeah.
which is cool.
No, but the thing is, at that point, Omer was like a friend.
Oh, I thought he was in the program.
No, so I met him in the coaching
Oh, he
program.
wasn't working in the program.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he stopped working in the program, but we stayed friends.
Oh, okay. That
And
makes sense.
and then yeah, and then we met up, and we were living together for like a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, he just told me like, dude, you have to get the skills, and then you can go off and do your own thing, but you have to get the skills first. And I thought I had the skill, but then I became a closer, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't have the skill. Yeah.
What do you think right now? So the coaching program we're both in. What do you
Yeah.
think? Right, I'm not gonna say what it is. You probably guess. But right now, like, what do you think when people are in that and they're trying to sign these bigger deals, right? These like 5, 6, 7K a month deals, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. What do you think the biggest mistakes they're making are? What do you think it is?
It's I would say positioning is number one,
In what way?
because if you're a beginner trying to sign like a 60K plus per year deal,
Talking like a complete beginner.
yeah, like okay,
like,
you've never done this before, and you're like, oh, I have hard
in
work
a new
ethic.
niche. Let's just say in a new niche.
New niche. You don't have any case studies. You're new at this entire thing.
Yeah.
You've never sold, like you've never even sold $100 product in your entire life.
Okay. Complete beginners.
Complete beginner. The biggest mistake that they would make in a business model like this is, like, number one, not having a lot of confidence because they're beginners. They haven't developed the mindset of, oh, I'm competent yet, because they don't have any evidence to support the fact that they're competent. They have no evidence. You've never sold anything. If someone asks you, why are you good at what you do? It's very hard to show, oh, I've done this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Because you haven't done it.
Yeah.
And so because you haven't done that, you haven't built up the internal confidence. So you have to build that up.
Especially if you're young, like you may have never even worked a job before, like, so you can't lean on that. Like, at least when I was making plans for these people, I could throw in stuff about how I used to be a sales guy for a kitchen company, like, you can just lean on past experience like that. But which is, I guess, why Jordan's always talking about things like, even if you have achievements, maybe it's in like athletics or something like that, or just something to show like this is a competent person. Again, if you're pitching bigger business owners, they understand the relationship between different areas of success. So yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah. Or as the second one, holding off on like a 7K deal or 8K deal instead of just like going for a 4K.
I'm not taking like a 3K or a 4K just because
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I think that's a fat mistake. I made that mistake at the start, but
yeah, man.
But I think it's way better to
because the targeting is going to be fucked up at the start as well. You're not going to always be speaking to brands that can pay you that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you miss out on the opportunity to get a case study, which allows you to get your foot in the door of a company that will give you a shot at a bigger retainer. So the reason why.
Oh, exactly.
You got what I mean?
That's a great point.
Like one of the biggest clients I signed recently, like 8K a month plus 5%, and then a $4,500 setup. One of the reasons why they decided to make a move with me was because I had a case study before of a client that I'd worked with for like $5,600 a month, and then 10%, right?
Yeah.
So if I didn't take that lower retainer to get that case study, then I wouldn't have had the ability to show my competence to this guy who was going to pay me $8,000 a month.
Yeah.
Most likely, I'm going to bump the retainer to a minimum $10,000 a month after 3 months.
Because it's like because if you do that, if you make that mistake, you're trying to go from a complete beginner from level, like let's say it's 0 to 100. You're trying to go from 0 to like 10 straight off the bat.
No, bro, you're trying to go from 0 to like 35.
Yeah, you're trying to go from 0 to 35 straight off the bat instead of going 0 to 1, 1 to 2, or even 0 to 2, 2 to 3 to 4 to 8, or whatever it may be. So it just doesn't make logical sense. It really doesn't. Yeah. The more and more I talk about this, the more and more I just realize how fucked the SMMA model is.
There's no reason why. And another thing as well, you have, because again, like I said, all of my friends are SMMA guys, right? I haven't heard anybody say, yeah, bro, I'm going to do SMMA 5 years from now. Everybody says, even the big guys, I'm not going to name drop, right? But the big guys that are doing, $100,000, $200,000 a month plus.
What, that here, that we know?
Yeah, we went to cigars with them, like, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
They're not saying, oh yeah, we can do this 5 years into the future. It's, yo, let me scale this to 100K a month and get the hell out.
Yeah.
Let me sell this for like a 2-4x multiplier and get the hell out.
Yeah.
It's like, if you think about a business, you
Yeah.
only want to sell the business when it's not going well. If the business is doing super well and it has a really, really positive like future trajectory, then you're not going to want to sell it. Why would you? You know what I mean?
That's another massive point. Like, it's building a sellable business, because like when you're starting an SMMA, you don't even think about that because you've got so many headaches from all your different ones.
You're like, fuck, bro, I just got to pay my mortgage and pay off my college debt.
I'm just waiting for like my barber to pay, like the barber I'm servicing to pay me like $397 for this month's work. Yeah, but then also it's like building a sellable business, because SMMA businesses aren't sellable unless you're like Nick Abraham with the operations. Like, it's just not. It's not sellable.
They are sellable though. I will say they're sellable, but it's not easy to sell.
So hard. And usually,
and
like Charlie Morgan did this. Like, you can't sell the business; you end up just selling your clients, and it's like not even worth it at that point. You may as well just outsource it or something like that.
Yeah, dude. So what agencies will do is they don't sell the whole business outright. It's very hard for that to happen.
Yeah.
What they sell is different assets of the business. So let's say you built up a cold calling team.
Yeah.
You sell the cold calling team to a buyer. You have the client base. You sell, then that's a separate thing. You sell the client base to a buyer.
Yeah.
And then you have, let's say, a sales team. Okay, you sell the sales team to another buyer, and then you just sell off parts of the business until the business doesn't exist anymore.
And selling a business is, like, from what I've heard, it's complex. You know, it's like you don't want to go through that 4 or 5 times. You really don't. It's enough work.
Yeah, I would rather just build something that's good the first time, and then not want to sell it because it's so damn good.
And it generates enough cash that you don't even want to sell it, but you have the option. And you can get a bigger multiplier because your clients are on 6, 12, even 18, 24-month contracts, and you're generating a hell of a lot of cash with it. And you probably don't want to sell it because you're actually friends with your clients. You don't have enough, you don't have many of them. So you can develop good relationships with them. You're actually fulfilled because you have time to get them great results. They like you, they appreciate you, they value you, so they can pay you even more money. You have even more money, so you can invest it into building a better service team, getting them better results, getting paid more rev share. And it's a flywheel.
You get paid a % of what you actually make them. So I've seen agencies that make companies a lot of money.
Yeah.
For example, a couple of my buddies, they run med spa companies, and they've built these companies from like very low up to $1 million a year. Still not a big company, but that's a significant jump from less than $1 million to $1 million, right? They're not getting a % of that. So, and they're only getting paid like $2,000-3,000 a month. What incentive do they have? If you just think about the incentive, what incentive do they really have to do a good job? There's a difference between giving you the service you paid for and then doing a really damn good job and growing the business.
Yeah.
I get a %. So that means if I make my client an extra $1 million a year in annual recurring revenue, I get a % of that. Right? Let's say I make like 5% of that. What is that? An extra $50,000 a year? You break that down, that's like $4.5 grand a month extra. Yeah. On top of the $8,000 to $15,000 per month retainer I am already charging. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not charging anyone like 15K right now, right? I'm going to work up to that. I'm not there yet. But
because some people would say, like, a few people have said this to me, like, if the rev share is such a huge part about how you're getting paid, right? Why charge a retainer? Obviously, I know the answer to that, but I want to hear what you would say to that. Right? People saying like, okay, why don't you just work with these bigger companies? You can sign them a lot easier on just commission. Explain to me why the retainer is so important.
Well, you're not running a charity; you're building a business.
Yeah, exactly.
Like imagine if like some fat lady goes to a gym, right? You have this fat lady, she goes to a gym, and she tells the personal trainer, yeah, you know what? You have to do all this work.
Results.
Yeah, pay on results. She's like, listen, Mr. Personal Trainer, you have to spend hours with me. You have to build out a training program for me.
Yeah. Right?
You got to keep me accountable. You got to text me all the time. You got to spend your valuable time
and
working with me.
at the end of that, I don't even know if you're gonna
after I lose 50 fucking stone, then maybe I'll give you $500. How's that?
Yeah, like £1 per stone or something.
Yeah, like if you think about it that way, if you're the personal trainer, in this example,
it's a good example.
You got to give away your time. You have to put together the plan.
Yeah.
You have to execute on the plan, and you have to make sure that the client stays on track. Yeah. Now, why the hell would I do that for commission only?
It's like you go into like a barber shop and you're like, yeah, I'll pay you after the haircut is good.
Yeah.
If I like the haircut.
If I like the haircut, then I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Or if you go to an apartment yeah, let me try this apartment out for a month, and then if I like it, then I'll pay you rent.
Yeah, it's
So
like you're
fucking
using
stupid.
people need to get paid for their time, right? It's
Yeah,
happened. It's been like that
yeah.
since jobs started.
So how would I, as a business owner, give you a good service and a good product, have the money to reinvest into making the product better, building a team that can actually support you,
Mm-hmm.
all while actually giving a shit about you getting results without getting paid?
And the client is like gonna have so much less involvement, and like they're not gonna give you the stuff you need to get them great results because
They're
it's
like, oh, it's
nothing to
free.
them. It's basically free. Yeah, it's
It
free.
is free. Yeah.
It is free. Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's ridiculous. I don't
yeah.
see any reason why, like, if you're working one time with a client and you know it's going to be a one-time project and it's not an ongoing thing,
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just want to get your foot in the door, improve yourself, and
Yeah.
then start a retainer sometime down the line, I think that's fine just to get your foot in the door. But I don't think you should go 100% commission. And if you do, you got to get paid for the work and effort you're putting in. You need to treat this like a business. You're not treating this like a freelancer personal project
Mm-hmm.
where all the money's yours. So you need to get paid 25% plus if it's commission only because you're taking on all the risk. Yeah. And when I look at the money coming into my account, I don't think, oh, this is Nathan's money. It's my but my business that money goes into that I
Mm-hmm.
have access to. My personal account is separate. It's not my money, it's the business's money. So when you look at it that way, you think, okay, well, I have X amount months worth of cash flow to support it if you get no new clients. Like we have, I can use this money to go hire somebody. I can use this to go get this software. So you can use that to reinvest in the business. So you can't look at it as your money if you're trying to build a business. You need to look at it as the business's money, which you have access to.
And that's what a lot of like the OGs in the space talk about. Like you always hear Alex Becker, Charlie Morgan, aka Sam Evans. No, I'm joking. Charlie Morgan and Sam
But
Evans.
no, not really.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there,
Uh,
even to like certain exact things they've said, which is a bit concerning.
Oh
But
my
I mean,
God.
why not like copy someone who's, I mean, yeah, why not just replicate someone's business model if
That's
they're
what
doing
I'm.
very
That's what
well?
I'm
Like
doing
it's
with
not exactly
Jordan.
that's
Yeah.
what we're all doing. So I mean, it makes sense, right? But yeah, they all talk about just investing back into the business and just creating a flywheel around it because too many people like it's very easy when you have a high profit margin service-based business like this to just think, okay, I'm just going to take the money out, I'm going to fuel my lifestyle, I'm going to have a great time, right? Because like it's very easy to do that and not invest back into the business because like we're in a business model here in the service-based digital service-based business where like we get envied by a lot of other business models. Like imagine you starting a construction business with like 1 to 2% profit
Oh my
margins
God,
or
dude.
logistics
Yeah.
or something like that. Like I don't want to run a business like that. It's not about revenue. It's not even about profit. It's just about cash. Like and how much of that cash can you keep and can you keep investing back to keep multiplying it?
Yeah, dude. If I ran like a construction business, like GG, it would be over. You'd have, because I'd have to be clearing to make what $100,000 a year. I have to be making $1 million a year with 10% profit margins.
Oh yeah.
And I can't even be remote, bro. Like we can't even be in Colombia when we do this. I got to be back in sunny California, paying $5,000 for one ham. It's like
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
exactly,
It's not even
exactly. And like it's yeah, and like I think like what I see of beginners as well, like too many people just I don't know, maybe they get their friends involved and they go like 50-50 with their friends
Oh
and stuff
my
like that.
God, bro.
And it just makes it like I don't think when you're doing like a done for you offer, which is less scalable, but obviously more scalable if you're doing like if you're charging higher prices, it doesn't make sense to have a partner in the majority of cases for most people.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like if you are a beginner and when you partner with somebody, you have to have opposing skill sets. You can't have like the same skill. You can't be good at sales and then your partner's good at sales. It's like, okay, well, why the hell did you just split it 50-50 when you could just hired a salesperson?
Yeah, and like if you are to partner with someone, they need to have shown competence beforehand, right? It's like what Iman Gadzi says. It's like when two losers talk to each other, it's not networking, it's just two losers talking to each other. It's like you need to bring something, right? You need to bring something to the table. You need to be interesting to people. So like if you do that first, if you show competence, then those opportunities will come.
Yeah, they will. You have to, because to have a good business partner, you need to be a good business partner yourself.
Yes.
It's 50-50.
To yourself.
That's the way it works. If you're
Yeah.
not a super good business person with high levels of business acumen,
Yeah.
then how the hell are you going to find somebody who's also good? If you're a vegetable, you're going to find another vegetable, and then it's just two asparaguses working together to build a 5K a month business.
Yeah. After expenses and tax, you're netting like a grand a month.
Yeah, and then you got to go home to your girlfriend and be like, "Hey, babe, I made $1,000 this year."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, that's it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Um, dude, how's your time in Medellin so far
Oh,
compared
bro,
to the UK?
well, I mean, so I was in Bali and I went back to the UK in the winter. So I mean, that was a bit of it was very humbling. But now I'm out here, it's perfect. I think just the network of people that you've introduced me to, even other people that I've met, you know, like even previous friends and stuff like that. The time zone's great, the city's great, the nature is great,
What
and
else is great?
the women don't
Yeah.
look that bad either. I was gonna say something crazy, but yeah, no, I mean it's lovely. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. I can definitely see myself staying here for a long time. I just did the nose touch, so maybe you thought I was lying, but I got an itchy nose. But no, I do love it here. It's amazing.
Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about with the nose touch.
No, it's like it's like body language when people touch their nose. It's like an indicator
Yeah.
that you're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colombia is great. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. No, but I think it's good. I think time zone, like if you're working with clients, especially if you're doing like a GP style offer,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like SMMA where you have a call with them every four weeks every month, and then you just 45 minutes is you talking about how you're setting up their new pixel that they just don't care about. It's like, no, you need to get on calls with you. We need to tell them what you're doing, right? If you have fewer clients, you can do that. So obviously the time zone works out better as well.
Yeah, for my clients, for context, I meet up with them like once a week tops,
Yeah.
once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But extended maybe once every 2 weeks. And then in the back, we're just making sure that things are going smooth. I'm messaging them texting them on Slack and WhatsApp, of course, but it's not like I'm having a ton of calls with them, and I don't need to either because they trust me.
Yeah, because it's like the like business owners that are actually competent, that value their time, aren't going to want to jump on pointless calls with people that are just telling them random stuff, right? They're going to want to do it periodically and consistently, and not every week. Like it's because if you're working with SMMA clients, it's like if they're doing, I don't know if it's a barbershop doing, I keep using barbers or yoga teachers, but if it's a barber, no,
personal trainers.
Yeah, it's exactly. If it's a personal trainer earning 5K a month and you're doing all their marketing and they're paying you 1K a month, right? That's like they're paying you 20% of their revenue. It's like a huge deal to them. So obviously they're going to be more emotionally attached to it. They're going to be just messaging you all the time. It's just going to be a nightmare for you. And you have like, let's say you have 10, 15 clients doing that and you can't even provide them a good service. Like what are you doing? Just go get a job. You know?
Like you would get an account manager at that point to help you. Like the way it goes.
Even then, the account manager quits. Like, what is this?
Because even then, when you have that level of like not intricacy, but when you need that level of client support and the churn is so high, you're essentially hiring for a role where no matter what happens, your clients are going to dip in like 3 months. Doesn't matter how good it is.
And then the account manager is like, I've spent all this time building a relationship with these clients. Like,
and they're all
finally
leaving.
getting the comms good, and then they're leaving.
Yeah. Don't forget though, the low profit. Let's say you do build up an SMMA to 100K a month. What are your profit margins? Because your clients churn all the time. Okay, let's say you drop like 30 G's a month on ads. Okay, so that's 30% wiped. Now you have a sales team that you need to pay 10,000. Let's call it 10,000 a month on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
What happens now? That's 40% gone. Now you have like senior leadership, maybe another 15,000, and then you what is that? 15,000 drops you down to like what, 45? Is that right?
Yeah, I guess
40. Let's call it 45.
We'll go with
that. And then you have like software costs and all this other extraneous shit, minus another $5,000. And then most of the time they got a partner of some sort. So chop that again in 50, and you're sitting there. Your business pulls in 100 grand a month, and you're taking in 20.
And the stress to manage that when you could, if you have the skills, you could just get a closing role, right? And then have the weekends off, not have the stress, stuff like that. So, I mean, I think if you're getting into the industry, you really just need to ask yourself, where are my skills? What do I actually want to do? Right? If I'm going at the pace that I'm going right now with this current business model, what is it going to look like 5-6 years from now? Can I make changes now that are going to affect where I'm
Yeah.
going to be, even if it's just small changes.
Yeah, and to go off of that, the biggest shift that I had when going into GP was looking at business on a longer time frame.
Yes, 100%.
Because now when I look at the business, I don't look at, oh, dude, let's make $30,000 next month. It's okay. How do I get to 30,000 or 40,000 a month consistently, repeatedly with a team,
with good clients,
with good clients, good staff, but also enjoy my life? How do I do that? And then maybe 2 months or 2 years down the line, how do I get to 100,000 a month in profit while having good clients, having a good team, having high retention, having a good brand?
Yeah.
You look at all those things, because when you run an agency, it's a cash flow thing. It's just, oh, dude, we need to get, and it's so stupid.
And that just comes across in the pitch as well. Like,
yeah, we need to get revenue. We need to get revenue at all costs, even at the cost of our profits.
Even at the cost of delivering a bad service that you know is not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said about looking at it from a longer term horizon is not only like you want to work with these clients for the long term, but if you're in an industry, like let's say you're in recruiting, if you're working with clients for the long term, you're developing great relationships with them. Knowledge is cumulative. So you're learning more and more about the recruiting industry over the time period that you're involved in it. So you're just becoming more and more aware of what their needs are, what their clients' needs are, problems like that. So you open up so many opportunities for yourself outside of just providing lead gen for recruiters and sales, whatever it may be, right? So it's just a longer time horizon. Like I'm looking at different industries right now that I'm like, okay, I want to be involved in that industry, maybe like 10, 20, even more than that amount of years time. So yeah, super important, man. Super important.
Yeah. And when you're in an industry where you're building a business and just churning clients left and right, that claps your reputation, bro.
Yeah.
So your reputation gets destroyed. You have a shitty business that can't last. Your clients leave in 3 months. Your staff doesn't know what's going on because all of the relationships they build with their clients on the client-facing side disappear after a short time frame. And you have to continually spend money on a sales team and fuck tons of ad spend because you can't keep your clients. Like, what kind of business is gonna last in the long term? Let's take SMMA out of it. Let's say this is just a business. You like analyzed the business and you saw this is how they were running. It's not an SMMA. It's just any other business. Would you say that's a business that would last more than 12 months? If they didn't get any new sales, would they last past 12 months? No. Right? Absolutely not. Or even 6 months. They wouldn't even last for 6 months if they got no new sales, because their clients keep leaving. So I have a buddy, actually. I'm not going to say who he is, but you'll know who he is. He's like, yeah, for reference, he's doing 150K, like 170K a month. And he's telling me, yeah, bro, we just got to sign more clients because we need to improve our product. Okay, I'm like, okay, what's the bottleneck in your business? Yeah, our clients keep leaving because their product's not good enough. So wait, you're telling me you're going to sign more clients. He runs an SMMA. You're going to sign more clients to feed into this machine that keeps churning clients after 4 or 5 months so that you can improve the product where you already have over 50 people working with you. Like, that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'm going to sign more people. I'm going to continue to churn them so I can make my product better. Why not just don't do that? Don't burn more people and then just make your product better. I don't get it.
Yeah, ethics go out the window as well when you get to that point. It's like you just see them as numbers. You don't even see them as clients.
They're not even clients anymore, bro. It's just like
no one wants to run a business like that. It's like it's so unfulfilling. It's so like I've had clients I haven't got great results for. Like when I was starting, I had to refund them. Like even when you refund them, and it's like it's still the time they've invested. It's still the opportunity cost of they could have invested in somebody else who actually gave them great results. It's just so unfulfilling. And trust me, you will not want to even sell a business. You don't want to think about selling it. When you have great clients who you love, that you're getting great results for, and it's profitable, like you would just want to keep running it. I've got one more question for you. What do you think? So let's say someone's watching this right now. Let's say they have an SMMA. Maybe they're charging 2K a month. Let's say they have, I don't know, 3 clients. They're servicing the gym niche, right? They got 3 clients paying 2K a month. Like, what would you advise to these people? Let's say they have a few case studies in the gym area.
Yeah.
Right. What would you say?
I don't know that much about gyms. I know that it's not a business
just like
model.
Gym as an example, let's say like it could be any local business, right? Or it could be, I don't know, let's even B2B. Like maybe they're charging 2K a month for lead gen. Like
I would say, okay, so the trends I'm seeing now, there's 2 ways to really make money. You have the very low market where you sell like access to a school group and you charge $50 a month, or you go way up market, you go to the top of the market and then you sell to rich people. the mid market is where you get killed because now you're talking to people that have a high level of market sophistication because they might
Mm,
have been doing it for a while, but they
mm.
have no money. So why? Okay, why would I try and go work with somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about? They don't super need my product. They've seen this before, and they have no money.
You just talked about exactly the marketing agency problem, like when people are trying to sell
Yeah, they're
lead
trying
gen
to
for
sell
marketing
to. They're
agencies.
trying to sell like a
Yeah.
mid market solution. Like you have to go way way higher.
When you say mid market, what size are you talking?
Mm, I would say
1 mil to maybe.
maybe anywhere between 1 to 3 million a
Yeah,
year
yeah, yeah, yeah,
with
yeah. They get targeted all of the time.
yeah 1 to 3 million a year with anywhere between 10 and 30% profit margins.
All of the time. These guys are just being,
Yeah,
yeah.
because anything after 5 million, if you think about it, make 5 million a year, you take 30% home as gross profit, which is actually kind of high.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what you're making 1.5 million bucks a year in profit,
Yeah.
in gross profit. You can afford to hire somebody for 100K a year, right? Like it's
And
just yeah. So as anybody who's watching this, either go super to the bottom and then charge like super cheap, $50 to $100 a month for a school group or some shit,
hmm
um, or go way to the top, work with companies that are doing at least $1 to $10 million a year in profit, not revenue, in profit, which can mean company sizes between 7 to like 50 million a year, um,
yeah.
and then sell them a solution and charge them a lot of money.
I think the main thing is just the people that you're talking to and the clients that you're communicating with, like the prospects that you're communicating with,
Yeah,
sorry. So just like yeah, the opportunities that you give yourself, and that just all comes through targeting and positioning. Yeah, I think that's it, bro. I think we
yeah.
had a good conversation.
One
I don't
last
know.
thing. One last thing.
Go ahead.
The biggest client I've sold recently was the easiest one,
Yes,
and it had
that's a great point.
the shortest sales cycle too.
I mean, usually I don't think that would be the case though. Like the
The
shortest
shorter
sales
sales
cycle,
cycle, no,
but the least
but being easier to sell,
easier.
yeah. They're
Yes.
not going to be like, oh, like what do I get if I give you $8,000 a month? They're just going to be like, okay, does this value proposition make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do I see this fitting into my business? Is it something that I need? And do I feel confident that this guy has the competency to help me? If all of those boxes check, the money's not an issue.
Yeah, because like in the Alex Hormozy value equation, he has the dream outcome, perceived likelihood of achievement, time, and then effort and sacrifice. Like most people are pretty good at nailing their dream outcome. Like if you're selling lead generation, you're saying you're going to get all these leads, they're going to close, whatever. So that's nailed, right? Effort and sacrifice. If you're doing done for you, I do it all. Time. Okay, we both understand that you're not going to get results instantly, but this is where the first results are going to come through, right? And they're pretty aware of that if you say it. So then it just becomes all about that perceived likelihood of achievement. So it's like if you know you can get great results from them, it's just making them aware of that. So that's where case studies, that's where showing past
Yeah.
experience, that's where evidence is so vital. Because if you're in their shoes, it's like if you've just reached out to them from a cold email, they know nothing about you. So you need to just raise that as much as possible and show them that you're actually competent. Otherwise, it's just never going to work.
And to make that trickle, like to make that loop back to the start of our conversation,
Yeah.
you have, if they're 100% confident that you can do what you can do, then they
Yeah.
will work with you. So what's the level under that? How do we get there?
Yeah.
We need to display high levels of competence. How do we get high levels of competence? We need to be able to show or to get years of experience under our belt
Mm-hmm.
to have the skill sets so that we know that we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
How do you get the experience? You get a job either in marketing or sales, or you run some sort of SMMA, it doesn't really work out, and then you pivot models, right? Or maybe it does work.
I'd rather get a job.
Yeah, I'd rather get a job, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I've done the whole started a business as a teenager thing. Yo, fuck that, go get a job. Okay, seriously.
For the majority of people at a young age, you're just way too immature, and it's just going to take way too much time, and it's just not going to make sense for the opportunities you can get just from being like a setter, closer, account manager, and get paid.
Yeah. Dude, get a job. Go be a sales guy or go be a marketing guy. Pick one of those things. Go get good at it. Go get your bread. Go get paid $4,000 to $10,000 a month.
Yeah, if you want to do lead
business.
gen or sales, like they're both great skills. It doesn't really matter. Just pick one.
Just pick one. Yeah.
For me, I'd pick sales, kind of like you did.
Yeah, same.
Because that voice break was crazy.
That was crazy.
Because I'm 20 years old and I'm still having these. I don't know when it's going to stop.
Yeah, you're cooked.
But yeah,
you're done.
I think it will. But yeah, no, I think that's everything. Like to summarize, if you want to do similar to what we're doing, right, and you want to pivot into the model which goes away from SMMA, you need experience. You need that, go into SMMA, right? Be okay with not being in the best business model, having a lot of problems, learning about so many different stuff that you can't focus on one stuff. Or you could go get a job, actually get paid consistently, get a monthly salary, right? Even if it is just commission, you're still going to get it,
Yeah.
right? And then pivot into a similar model to us, right? Done for you, bigger retainers,
Yeah.
less clients, more sellable. It's just better in all aspects. So
Yeah. And
that's everything. No, go ahead.
my last thing.
Okay.
So when you build a business, you have to have all these skills in order, right? I might be missing some, but you have to become competent in all these skills, or you have to have the ability to hire people who are competent in these skills. So you have to get good at sales. So you got to build that up.
Yeah.
You got to get good at marketing. That's a new skill. You got to build that up. But you only have 8 hours in a day. So how the hell are you going to do those things, right? And you have to get good at operations, admin, like all these different skills that you have to get good at the same time when you're building a business. Yeah. Whereas when you get a job in sales, maybe you don't learn all the other crap, but you can spend 8 hours a day just leveling up the sales bar. You know what I mean?
Because people see, like, the reason I think people think of it like that is because, like, I'm launching a startup, and they think of like the bigger companies, like the much bigger companies, like
like they look
Facebook
at like,
or something like that,
like
and
fucking WeWork. Oh yeah, I'm launching a startup.
Yeah, but like the difference is you're bootstrapping it. Like these people had funding; they could hire a team right from the start, so they didn't have to focus on 20 different aspects of the business, and they could just do what they do best, right? Which is code for a lot of people. They're like all of the bigger companies in the early stages. So it's like, I mean, it's logical what we just said, and I think it makes the most sense after what we've seen. And hopefully you had some takeaways from this conversation.
All right, let's go eat some raw eggs.
I don't know about that, but
all right,
let's do something like that.
Good video.
That was a great video.